What's going on, guys? On my X, it's episode 36. Got a lot of Halo action we're prepping for, on the verge of, I would say, for this upcoming week. We got an HCS championship on the line. It's one of the big ones, maybe the last one too. So you really want to see who's going down as the best at the end of the game, right? So we got a lot to talk about here. Joined by Goofy, Hunter JJ, so nice at the end, and that's the crew. So how you guys doing today?
Doing good. Not too big on college sports, but I couldn't help but focus on it this year. U of H, my alma mater, we made it all the way to the Final Four, so I naturally had to hop on the bandwagon. And I went to the school, all right. I paid tuition there, so I have these rights that I could fall back on. Yeah. But no, either way, they got destroyed. But the Gonzaga game was super close, so that'll be a crazy championship matchup. Other than that, it was good. My birthday was this last week, so I'm getting up there now. I'm 27 years old. It's crazy.
Young.
It's crazy because I remember starting Halo. I won't get into this rant, but I was like 13, started playing Halo 3, and now I'm literally 27. So I don't know. The time just went by like super quick.
Talk to me when you're 31.
Yeah, you're right. It could be worse. It could be worse.
Is it worse though, or is it growing up is glowing up? I don't know.
I'm actually joking. I'm putting a negative. It's actually awesome. Like, I'm not looking at it like that at all. I think it's I'm excited to get into my later 20s and see what I can do here. But no, good week. Excited to be back for another episode.
How does it make you feel that Halo 5 came out and you were like 21 and now you're 27 and Halo 5 is still
that's a good point.
Game's just been going and going and going and going. It's the game that keeps on giving. So
yeah, we're ready for a new game to give.
I'm glad you had a good birthday week. We were all sending out the love. It is crazy to see you like being 27. I feel like we all remember young Goof on the scene bursting on, and now all the things that the man you've matured into, and moving on, just being just a player to casting and all that stuff. It's pretty cool. Wes, man, how's your week been?
It was long. Worked a ton. I feel like that's every week, though, right? Got another opportunity. I casted the EU HCS championship this past weekend on Saturday. Did that with Jersey.
Nice.
Had a good time. Those cartel boys, they're gonna be something special. I think they're good.
They're bad. Yeah,
they're
the real deal.
By far the best in Europe, it looks like. And with that, I'm super excited to see kind of what they bring to Infinite, because we saw a European team get top 6 a few times throughout Halo 5. We saw a Spanish team get top 8 in Halo 5. That was like the first of the beginning for maybe other countries, other regions starting to catch up with America and learn how to play Halo at the highest level. So super excited to kind of hope that story keeps transitioning and evolving. And hopefully we get some like regional rivalries in a sense.
Yeah.
So very excited to see if that's a possibility in the future.
International Halo is like took leaps during Halo 5. I mean, I don't think an international team ever got top 8 prior, throughout all of MLB and all that stuff. I think
they were always
Power got like top 16
there.
once.
They were never even.
They were not close, dude. They were like Power got like top 16 maybe twice.
Close.
That was it.
They might have gotten top 12, but they were not close to the competition.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
Yeah.
And it's interesting. It's probably another topic for a whole, maybe for a show separately. But because Halo is now going to be on like PC and Xbox, or it's going to be largely on PC, it makes you wonder if we will be seeing more international players and teams because of how widely accessible the game's going to be now.
I think absolutely we will.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, Wes is damn near international. He's casting European Halo every week. Before you know it, he's going to be over there with an accent.
Let it be known that those guys are lucky that I didn't compete in Europe, or I would have wreaked havoc.
Here we go.
I'd still be wreaking havoc on some of those kids.
Oh man, well, it's an awesome state of international Halo, and I'd love to see it. I've loved to see the growth throughout Halo 5. Thinking about season 1 of Halo 5 and how some of those teams just got run over in Worlds, to now where like there's some formidable forces. But we got a lot of Halo 5 to talk about. I mean, Halo 5 was kind of the big deal this weekend. It's the big deal next weekend. I think Wes just hinted at it. I think it's over for Halo 5. I think this is the last season. I think this is the last tournament coming up. But with that being said, we've had a team that's been going on a little bit of a terror here the last couple weekends in the Halo 5 Pro Series. And, we had to have a guest on from that squad. So it's my pleasure to introduce the beating heart of Cloud9. It's Coach Hoaxer. Welcome to the show, my man. Emmanuel, how you doing?
Too kind, man. I'm doing pretty well. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for coming on, man, especially short notice. Like I said, I kind of just reached out to you in the middle of the stream, and you're like, yeah, I'm down. So, the first Lovejoy on the show, as well as the first member of Cloud9. So we're glad to have you. I'm going to let Wes go ahead and kick things off with the first little question for you, and we'll just get into the conversation.
Sounds good.
He throws questions at people when they might not have questions. All right. Anyways, I'll figure this out. Hoax, good to see you again.
Yes.
Always a pleasure when I get an opportunity to hang out with the Lovejoys. It goes back to you guys welcoming me into your house back in the Halo 3 days. There's nothing but hospitality, good times, 2v2s for nights on nights ends.
Yeah.
And Dad's a Ravens fan, so he's already my favorite esports father of all time.
Super biased. Yeah, super biased at that point, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. So that was something I will never forget, was just being able to talk Ravens with him, because I haven't really ever had someone in my life that else is a Ravens fan, right? So
right.
It's always awesome to see him. He goes to events still every now and then. I think I saw him at St. Louis.
He was at Atlanta. He was at DreamHack Atlanta.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I got an opportunity to see him and talk to him there. So good times as always. You guys have been in Halo for at least as long as I have, which is
Marcus started in H2.
Long time.
07, I think it was.
Dang.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
geez.
Lovejoys have been here. They are people, family in the Halo community.
Godfather
If you don't
status.
know, now you know.
Yeah, for sure.
They got eyes and ears everywhere. They got hands involved in everything. They got deep roots, deep roots in the Halo scene.
So I guess we'll get this kicked off with a question. I'll make this one about your team in Halo. Why not make it something people actually probably care about more? You guys have started to have success. That's exciting, because I feel like y'all haven't had that similar success since Shotzi left. But now that Penguin's been a part of the team for a while, everybody was wondering when this team was going to figure it out and connect the dots and hit that stride.
Right.
What do you think's been the biggest difference here in these past month, I'll say, that's allowed you guys to get over that hump, that find that end of the line success that you guys know you're more than capable of?
Yeah, I think it just came down to us getting enough reps to the point where it's actually sticking in our minds what the issues are, whether it be our individual approaches to the game, and also collectively. And even me, like I take lots of accountability, whether it's like, I'm voicing it to the guys, or it's just internalized in me to what
more than I ever did as a coach.
Yeah, and I just look at all the ways that I can still contribute to these guys, whether it's asked for or not. And I think it's just we're just having to go through the reps, because we've always known that we're the best team. It's just a matter of manifesting it, and we just got tired of losing.
Is there anybody who stepped up here in the past month? Because I'm interested to see what your point of view is, but there's a player on your team that I think is just absolutely out of control nowadays.
Yep.
And I'll let you kind of give your answer, but I already have something in my head.
Oh, so what are you saying? Like, who's like the most like?
Who do you think right now? You guys have recently had all this success. I think that there's an individual on your team personally that has stepped up and been playing lights out over this past month. I want to see if you're having the same glance, or if it's just a day-to-day with this kid that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, so I know who you're thinking of, but to me it's weird, because I just obviously I have my perspective that no one else has.
Right.
You're thinking of Stellar.
I'm definitely thinking of Stellar. He is. I mean, I always knew Stellar was one of the best, but like, Stellar's the best right now.
And there is a reason why you're noticing that now, and I think it's because his internet.
He got it upgraded
Really?
finally. 'Cause I know he
Yeah.
used to always lag.
His internet, I don't know if it's a Arizona thing, but it just seemed like regardless of his speeds and ping, there is something integral that was wrong with his internet. Maybe it's the block he's on, but he would just skip in games,
Yeah,
and everyone
yeah.
knows that. Everyone who knows that
Mhm.
plays against him, he's just skipping, about the maps and whatnot, and that was obviously to our disadvantage, but it was also disadvantage to other teams because they're having to deal with somebody glitching. But
Right.
essentially, it was to our disadvantage the most, and you weren't quite able to see Braden's abilities shine in a significant way, and this is what you're seeing. I mean, he's always been stellar. He's always been the guy, the stone cold killer, the silent killer who's off on his own island, just dominating. And this is it, man. It's the internet. It's his internet. It's up to par.
So what happened? Did he get an upgrade? Did he move? Did he?
I think what
change?
happened was, what happened was his ISP came in and just apparently they did like an overhaul on his whole, like, I don't know, his on the whole grid of his neighborhood or something.
Can't be
I'm not
cheap.
sure. Yeah,
Mhm.
well, I don't know if it was complimentary or not, but
They had to upgrade the whole block. Like what's that? The whole
Yeah.
block
Yeah.
had to get fixed up.
He's out here calling internet companies saying,
he was gonna
I don't
switch.
care if you have to dig up the entire.
Yeah.
I'm surprised he didn't like it took him so
Oh,
long to
yeah.
to think about switching, you know?
Oh, we had been talking about it since, I don't know, maybe like season 2.
I've heard,
gosh.
I've heard the Talks guys complaining about Stellar's internet
For sure.
screaming against him for
Yeah.
probably
Wow.
3 years, maybe
Yeah.
longer.
It's a long time coming, and we always knew that it was gonna have to be something done, coming into Infinite.
Yeah.
But he just, like I said, we got tired of losing, and he was gonna switch internet service providers, and they just came through. I think that what happened was his current ISP, maybe they caught wind that he was trying to switch because he
We
literally
can't
had
lose the
to
superstar.
right.
Yeah, you can't
Yeah.
lose the superstar, they say.
Yeah, so they got right, and here we are.
Nice.
Here we are. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's definitely showing.
I mean, when
Yeah.
you're sick of losing, like you said, you kind of do whatever it takes to shore up you look for any holes that can be shored up, and the internet is a massive one. I mean, if you're competing in an online game in 2021 where it's all online, you got to put yourself at your best, possible situation to a chance to win, and that starts with the internet. So props to him for getting that situated
For sure.
and turning that around.
Yeah, I mean, I would say that's like that was the X factor.
Hmm.
In this whole thing. So that's why I can't name any individual player on the team. It's just
It
what it
makes
was.
sense. Yeah,
I can see that because as a coach, you just see them as more of a unit, So
Correct.
to you, it's like how are we operating as one, unit rather than certain individual players. So as a coach's perspective, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Emmanuel, I wanted to take a moment to ask a specific question going into the 10K H5 Pro Series tournament. So back to back, Cloud9, wins the 5Ks, which is I know for you guys it's probably like, we expect to win these, but from like a viewer perspective and an outside perspective, it's like, all right, these guys are finally on the scene, or not on. Sorry, they're finally like where they need to be on the scene, and they're winning these tournaments. Going into the 10K, is there one? If you had to pick one specific team that you think would give you guys the biggest fight, or the team that you're probably looking to expect to play in the finals, who would that team be, and why do you think it's going to be that team?
Yeah, so there's no team that we're worried about, first of all, but I expect that we'll probably play Sentinels in the finals.
Okay.
If assuming we make it to the finals, that's who we would play, I think.
Okay. And
Actually,
how do you?
that's what I actually dial that back. That's who I'm hoping that we meet them there.
Oh, okay. Okay. I think Sentinels and Cloud9 or these two rosters have always had. Yeah, they have a rich history in recent Halo 5 history. So I think you guys are obviously the top dogs, and it's fun to see y'all battle it out. And even in the last
100%.
tournament,
100%.
you guys took them out in the finals, but there, it got close there a few times. So excited to watch it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I was just gonna add. Yeah, I was actually like worried that they were close to not making it.
Ooh,
'Cause
very
the Flyers.
close.
I think it's arguable. Or it's more than arguable to say that Flyers, they had them plenty times in that series.
What do you think about that? Flyers, beating KC Pioneers, almost beating Sentinels. Like, what do you think about them?
Yeah. So I think KC Pioneers, they're on some sort of down tick. I think in terms of just
stock is low.
Maybe.
Damn, Wes.
I wouldn't
What's the
necessarily
biggest
say their
KCP fan?
stock is low. I would say that they're just in some sort of slump that they need to figure it out. They need to figure it out. And
some people never figure it out, though. That's the thing. It's like these guys aren't like tried and true veterans. These guys had some success, and now they're being kind of tested.
For sure. I mean, but from a, I guess if I was in the KCP camp, this is an opportunity for them to show what they're made of.
If I'm in the KC camp, I'm
packing my bag.
Have you got signed contracts for Infinite yet? Or?
I mean, I could entertain that statement, but I
love how professional Manuel
always
is,
so
dude.
professional, man.
I'm messing. I'm a big KCP guy. I definitely want to see them have a lot of success because I think it's always fun when new up and comers get onto the scene and can create some interesting storylines. I'm tired of watching Cloud9 versus Sentinels. I'm going to be honest with you.
Inconceivable is always lingering.
Yeah. They always show up. Every fifth tournament, they'll show up and win.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think in the case of Flyers, you can't overlook those guys.
No.
It just seems like they're just hot and ready, off the press. You have to assume that they're hot and ready off the press. Even if they maybe played, like duds in the previous tournament, you still can't overlook those guys. They're Envor impressed me a lot. I will say that he impressed me a lot, and the Skeptify, I think that's how you say his name. I'm not sure. Envor, like synchronization, like those two were complementing each other. I felt like a lot throughout their series against Sentinels, and like I said, I think that they should have won, and I think Sentinels, whether they agree with this or not, I think that they thought they probably should have lost.
They probably think that. If the series is close, they probably are sitting there like, what are we doing in a close series with these guys?
Right.
I mean, but the series wasn't close until it was. That's the thing. Like, it was
50-49 game 5 after being down to
that's like a close series to me.
That's as close as it gets.
I'm saying they were up 2-0 and kind of just like, I think Sentinels to me is like,
best of 5.
Sentinels is the scariest team to be up 2-0 against, in my opinion, because at any moment they're going to come back.
Yeah, you've got to put them away. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't give these guys an opportunity. You've got to step on them. You've got to step on them.
Yeah.
Like, period. And I think any team that is going up against them and they're up 2-0, you've got to have that in your head.
Yep. That series hurt me so badly. I wanted them to win that so bad because I'm so sick of Wes coming in here every week and throwing shade at Flyers, and they were like,
"I'm tired of hearing about Flyers."
I listen. I've been listening. What are you listening?
Oh my God, they got top 4.
But they almost took Sentinels. They almost beat Sentinels, dude. That's impressive. You're crazy.
This guy, look at this guy up here.
You're crazy.
Hater.
He's a hater, dude. He's a bona fide hater.
Like, I actually want to like these guys, but you guys are ruining their careers for me. You guys are literally overhyping them so much that I have to bring.
You're happy that no.
This is what's happening.
Congratulations.
I literally get stuck having to bring our audience down to planet Earth, the one we live on.
Oh my God, this guy's so dramatic.
You know what I think it is with Wes?
Tournament.
This is what it is. What I think with Wes, he's hazing KCP right now.
I'm not.
He's hazing them.
I
guarantee. You asked the question.
Oh, Flyers. My bad. You're hazing them. You're hazing
I'm
Flyers.
like, they've shown me that they are a top 6 team. They have not shown me. They showed me this past week that they are capable of top 4. Stop putting them in the finals.
That's fair.
I feel like they showed you this week that they're capable of getting top 3. Not just, I mean, they got 4th. They showed you they're capable of getting 3rd. Like that's crazy to me because you think, you know what I'm saying?
Here's the problem. There's a lot of things working against Flyers in Wes's mind.
They got 2nd.
And they were a great
Which was
team.
impressive. Like that was cool. That was something. I mean, that was cool. That was impressive.
I think here's the problem, right?
That does not make them a good team.
Wes is a massive Sentinels fan. He's also a KCP fan. So anyone that's a threat to either of those two, Wes is automatically going to be a hater of. Period.
I
can attack him. You want me at Wes right now? I can go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm unchaining you, man. Go ahead, bro.
Please tell me how many times I predicted Cloud9 to win. It was just about every tournament we've seen in the past year.
Sure. I'll let. Yeah.
It's on recording. I can bring it up.
Yeah.
He's got the receipts.
But I'm the Sentinels fan. I'm the KCP fan.
You're the Sentinels fan.
No, I'm boys with just about everybody in the scene at this point. I don't root for teams. I root for good series. I'm a realist. When you show me that you can do something that's impressive, I'll call you out. Until then, you are who you are.
So is it not impressive to get top 4 and be one? Is 1 kill away from top 3 already securing top 4 not impressive?
They're a top
I don't want to argue about the freaking philosophy of what makes a series close or not, but I think they got with I to an extent I agree with Wes. They got top 4. They didn't make it to the finals, but overwhelmingly I side with Emmanuel and Justin on this. I think where it is I think they're a threat and they've shown that. But Justin, have you got a chance to get your question? I know you were the one that got.
Oh man, I'm just vibing, dude. I'm excited to just be here. I do want us to at some point in time circle back around to KCP because we need to talk about their vibe at the moment and what's going on there. But my question for Manuel, I got to give him the fun guy question.
You're not the fun guy.
This is an every week thing. Every time we have a guest on, Manuel knows because he listens to the show. He's connected. He's in tune. So Manuel, my question for you, brother, is what is your most memorable, outrageous, maybe funny behind the scenes LAN story?
Ooh. Behind the scenes LAN story. Well, I can talk are you talking about like a major LAN or just any?
Doesn't matter.
Like,
any
local?
LAN. It could be a local. It could be a major. It could be.
Man, I've got a funny one. It's vague. It's like that actually that involves Wes.
I was about to say keep my name out your mouth because I don't know what you could possibly.
No. It's funny. It's a good one. It's a good one. Like that cemented my opinion that you're the best trash talker.
Let's hear it. Yeah, let's know this one. All right.
Like I said, it's vague, but I remember we were in it was a Georgia LAN in Halo 3. I want to say it was.
Let me see if I can help you out here.
I can't remember whose LAN it was, but maybe it was. All I remember was you're getting trash talked, physically trash talked by multiple people at the same time. And they're not even playing the game.
They're not ready.
And it was the most funny thing because you were, while playing, trash talking them at the same time. And I'm just like, okay, this is cool. This is really cool. But like I said, it was super vague that I just
tournament in Nashville that we went to.
Maybe it was Nashville. Maybe it was.
There was a tournament I went to in Nashville. I forgot who my teammates were. I don't know if you were there though.
I was there, but I don't know if I was playing.
Okay.
I can't remember.
I remember a LAN. It was a tournament I went to in Nashville. It sounds very familiar to what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I was actually playing. I couldn't tell you who was on my team.
Yeah,
we won. Of course, we won. We went to a game 5 actually in the finals though, and I dropped 27 on Pit Slayer.
Okay.
It was
We're gonna
I remember the game.
Professor Pitt.
Because I was heated.
Professor Pitt was born.
I could not play a second without Homeboy 1 and 2 standing behind me.
That was it. That had to have been it. Had to have been.
The whole time they're just in my ear yelling, and they're like a foot away from me.
Yes.
And they're just talking shit, and I'm playing out of my mind. So like, talk your shit because your little brother that I'm playing against. I actually found out the dynamics. And funny story, a player on the other team is somebody we all know.
Who?
JR. JR was on the other team.
No way.
Are you serious?
Yeah.
JR who?
JR's
Fantasy.
It was fantasy.
Wait, at what tournament? When?
This is like a while. This is a long time ago.
Holy!
But I promise you, I was playing against JR, and JR was like the only other person on the other team that was like pretty solid.
Yeah.
Wait, JR, when? What year was this, roughly?
2009, 10-ish, maybe.
Yeah. No later than 2010.
Yeah, no later.
Yeah.
I didn't know fantasy
Probably
played all the way
09.
back then.
I was
Probably
pretty good
09.
at this point, so like I remember I was
It's been a while
somebody,
since he
and
was
they
that
knew
good,
I was
right?
somebody, so they were trying to talk to like smack to me, help their little brother out. It was JR's older brother, actually. Him and his friends.
No
trying to roast me.
This story is spiraling out of
27
control.
on their
Awesome.
forehead. 27 on his brother's forehead, and the whole time I'm like on a
Oh my
frenzy on my turret, and I like out snipe JR. I stand up and I turn around and go, he sucks.
Oh, no.
I'm like popping off.
Somebody
I'm
asked this
having
guy.
so much fun. Yeah. So no, JR and I talked about that, and then after the series is over, I'm like, I'm roasting. I turn around. I don't even talk like smack to the people I'm playing. I turn around and go, all that effort, and you guys got nothing out of it.
That was it. Yeah.
Oh, God.
And I was like, and if you want to handle business now, we can go outside. And I actually walked my ass outside and was ready to. I was ready to brawl.
Yeah,
They
well,
were
I mean,
nonstop smack talking.
Yeah, I mean, it's a
Oh my
mismatch.
God.
Wes has always been bigger than everybody, so
Oh,
you know.
God.
I
So
was
in
heated.
little Manuel's head, that was the moment. He was like, this man just won game 5 for his team, carried the squad while battling 2 dudes verbally at the same time behind him. I mean, I would probably have the same reaction.
I'm like looking up, like, holy shit, this guy just shitting on everybody. So no, it was cool. Like, and plus,
man.
I love trash talk, so
Hmm.
that
I want-
resonated with me a lot.
I do want to ask you a more serious question.
Okay.
And it's a fun one. I think that
Okay.
no, not like a fun guy question, but you and
You're not the
you
fun
and
guy.
I am the fun guy. But you and your brother Manuel, as well as a number of players, I think have sort of been the most prominent, I would say, African American players that have come through the scene. I think of guys like Karma. I think of you and your brother and how you guys have risen,
APG.
against the odds. APG obviously is in that not in that conversation. Is that guy as well?
100%.
And so my question, and we've had some obviously just terrible things we've seen, all that. Not even going into that lately, but my question for you is like, what advice would you give to someone, it's a minority possibly trying to get into the scene, trying to work their way to the top? What advice would you give someone like that to find the success that you guys have kind of found?
Yeah. So I'm gonna be somewhat cliche, but this is just really it's just real. This is real shit. You've literally got to work harder than everyone. You've got to stay consistent. You have to have an undying belief in yourself. And you have to know how to what's the word? I'm sorry I'm taking so long with it, but it's just
Don't
so important.
apologize. I'm enjoying it.
It's knowing how to cut certain people off, and being very particular with energy, and siding with people who are very encouraging, positive, and uplifting. And you can find those people in any community, but it's here. It's here in the Halo community. You've just got to look for it, and just you have to believe in yourself and work hard. You have to work harder than everyone with whatever it is that you have set out, whatever your goal is, with being the best player that you could possibly be. Pro ambitions, whether it's within Halo or not. You've got to believe in yourself, and if you keep whatever that goal is, being a pro, everything else kind of aligns. Your actions, every time you wake up, you're going to start looking for those things that are going to get you there, or those people that have those characteristics and that have similar goals like that. Whether they themselves know that or not, their character is going to show that they have something about them in their energy that can help you, or that you can help them and you can feed off of that. I don't know exactly where I was going with that, but that's kind of like the first thing that I would say. It really transcends skin color for me in that regard, because anybody could pick that up. But that's especially what I would say.
I love that. That's a really good answer, man. And for you guys that are watching, take these words to heart, man. I mean, Emmanuel,
It's real.
accomplished as a coach, obviously. Immensely accomplished as a player as well. He has the hashtag just a coach, but this guy dominates as a player. He just got done going
FFA
undefeated.
God.
Yeah, just got done going.
Legend.
Carbine legend.
If I see a Carbine on the map, I instantly go to you. Like my head just goes there.
I love that weapon. I love it.
I mean, dude, like your work ethic and your success already, speaks for itself. I mean, the Cloud9 success now. You jump in and coach us for one tournament. We end up winning that tournament as well for the Halo 3. Like you are,
That's true.
you have
It happened.
you embody the work ethic, and I think the results really go ahead and show that. I'm gonna let Wes go or Faisal, whoever wants to.
Stop
jump in
throwing me
next.
questions.
No, yeah, I got one for you, Hoaxer. This is another pretty standard one, but one that I've always been interested to ask. So, I could think of a few players that have made the transition from being a competitor to being like a coach on a well-established team and actually being like a vital piece of that team, right? So you come to mind, Alumni, your brother comes to mind, Swiftkill, Alex comes to mind. I know he's more of like he's like the manager of that team, but I'm more so talking. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But I'm more so talking about that transition, into being on the roster, but not actually playing, I guess.
Right.
So what, do you miss aspects of being do you still consider yourself a competitor because you're playing these free for alls all the time still? Do you kind of in your head see yourself as completely focused on coaching, or, how has that transition been? And are there, aspects of being a player that you miss still?
Yeah. So first, I'd like to say that I will be a competitor to the day I die, like period. There's aspects of being a player that I do miss. I do miss certain aspects, but I'm completely full sending, my role as coach, and I love it. I loved playing, and I love coaching, and both of those roles fall under competitor. And at the end of the day, like I said, my passion is being a competitor. So, that it transcends the role, in my opinion. But coaching has brought a whole nother layer to my game, even from a player perspective, that I feel like makes me unique. And for example, I don't know if I'm getting off tangent slightly, but when in terms of me playing Halo 5, like for example, just before I hopped on the show with you guys today, I was playing on Money 8 series, and not doing anything crazy flashy, sprinting around or anything, but I feel that I'm able to command, keep track of time, and keep track of my team. Yeah, shot call, IGL. But it's even more than IGL though. I feel like I don't know what the term is for that. I don't know what that is yet. But those things I would not quite grasp if I wasn't coaching. So I don't know if I answered. I don't know if I really.
It's like your game. It's like your game has elevated your coaching, and your coaching has elevated your game in
100%.
like a synchronous synergy. Love
yeah,
that.
I think definitely. So overall, I think the sentiment there is like you're still a competitor. You're just like branching off like how you're competing, and I respect that totally.
Can we go back to Faisal's list of influential players that have become coaches and had major successes?
Wes, of course, Wes is on that list. I'm sorry.
Of course.
Wes is a great coach. Let me put that out there.
He's been holding on to that.
I was just in there like,
Is it coming? Is it gonna be said?
I mean,
You're right. I apologize.
with you.
Wes is definitely on that list too.
you were an amazing coach, but you were also coaching Steph Curry, Kevin Durant,
Well, I
Klay
also
Thompson,
coached
and
Optic. I also coached
Yeah.
a lot of teams. I coached an Optic team with Mike.
Coach straight ripping.
I coached straight ripping. Like I didn't start with the CLG boys.
Facts.
you worked your way there.
People to know that.
I mean, I probably should have started with them, but they always had that connection with Rule 1 that's been coaching them forever. So it was
True.
not
No,
the
you
right
were
place to
coaching some good rosters
But-
from the jump.
I mean, I'm not trying to talk about my coaching. I just wanted to give you hell because you left me off that list, and I'm sitting there like, what?
I was thinking the same thing too. I was like, wait a second.
Yeah, I think to Hoaxer's point, like when I coached, the biggest issue I had was I had so little control of it. Like I wanted
You almost want to pick up the controller and like
absolutely want to grab the controller out of Flamesword's hand at one point and say, "Give me that shit."
I feel that a lot. That doesn't happen often on this team.
That didn't happen when I was on CLG. When I was on CLG, I was like, "You guys do your thing." All right?
give me the
Right.
controller.
Man, give me that shit.
Yeah,
I want to
no,
snipe.
when I watch these guys play, dude, it is incredible what these guys pull off. And I'm just like, man, I'm so glad I'm not competing against these guys. And for me, when I see these guys pull off what they do, I just like, man, I just want to be great at what I do.
Yeah.
And
I want to support these guys as best as I can at that time.
100%.
And you are. I mean, you truly are great. I mean, we've all had lots of coaches throughout the years. But there's something about a coach who has a player pedigree that you can trust and the way that they see the game. I mean, when you coached us, like you were telling us stuff so much more than just times, our timing's off, get our numbers back here. Oh, get your shields there. Don't worry about that fight. Like literally like battlefield commander status over your team. And I know it's
It's almost like having a fifth player when you really have a good
Absolutely.
coach.
It definitely is. When you're that good of a player, and you coach. I remember one time Frosty actually got mad at me. Like when I first started coaching CLG, he actually called me out and thought that I was like cheating in observer mode when I was coaching them online because we got all 4 dead. Like, and I could see, like, I was watching like multiple people's streams at the time.
Right.
I killed all 4, and I was like spawning S1 on Plaza, and I fucking lo and behold, there's 3 players just sprinting out of S1 towards truck, and Brad literally thought that I was cheating. I was like, no, dude, I just understand the way the spawns and rotations work. I saw what we were blocking. Like, I'm able to make that call in real time and give you that kind of information. And at the time, like, you could tell he didn't know if it was true or not. But, like, being able to situationally give your team that kind of information, like, we're not like understand that you have 4 points of view in front of you, see what everyone is blocking, and be like, being able to like deduct where the other team is going to spawn and maybe be a little bit quicker on that than someone that's actually playing the game because they're still trying to process everything else that's been going on.
Absolutely. 100%. A good coach can really take you to a different level, whereas like, there's their standard coaches, which are fine, but a good coach can be like a 5th player, like you said. I want to tackle one last Halo 5 specific topic before we jump into the Tashi tweet, because I know it's something we really want to talk about and we're excited to have you on for. Manuel, but I'm going to start with you on this one. I want to know what's going on with KCP vibe check. Like, is this like, are we seeing their downfall? Like, what's kind of your take on where that team is at right now, Manuel, and what their issues are?
I mean, because I don't roll with those guys outside of my money 8s, engagements with them, but it was kind of like what I was saying earlier. They're unquestionably in some sort of slump, and we don't know what's going on in their their personal lives. We don't know what's going on from in that regard. We don't know what that is. We don't have vision on those kind of things. Not to say that that's what it is, but they're not playing as good as they used to, but it's also in tandem with obviously us playing way better than this whole H5 Pro Series is concerned. Inconceivable is just they've been pretty consistent with the way that they're playing. And with KCP, I mean, they play a lot too. I mean, in general. So I don't really know what's going on there outside of they just have to play better. I don't know.
For me, it begs the question if they've hit their ceiling. And that kind of circles back to what Wes said. I think when we brought them up earlier, he's like, some teams, like once they start losing, they don't, regain and kind of get back to that top form. And again, I think that there's a lot of correlations or connections that can be made with their early, like recent Halo 5 success and they kind of tapering off, because again, like to stress the point that we say constantly, they were playing a lot before everyone started playing Halo 5 again. So they always kind of had that leg up and that confidence and that confidence it really is a factor here. Cause like in the beginning, they start playing against all these big names and they're beating them consistently. They build their confidence up, and then lo and behold, like everyone starts, the Cloud9 start actually dominating like they're supposed to. And all these other teams kind of get to their closer to final form. And then even like the Flyers start coming into play in the ambushes of the world. So I think that's my 2 cents on it.
Yeah, it kind of makes you think about, kind of makes you start thinking about, Infinite, the plan moving forward as we see, Envy come back onto the scene, all these other teams lurking. Like, where is the space for KCP? I mean, there's a lot of talent. There's a lot of talent in MCC that obviously will be focusing on Infinite as well, coming back through. I'm hoping for the best for KCP. I'm hoping they're able to bounce back mentally, but it's looking kind of rough. Wes, do you think this is just a phase? Do you think this is the start of something worse?
Are they going to have a roster change? What's going to happen?
I don't know these guys like that.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
At this point, like, I don't know what's going on in their personal lives. I don't know how motivated they are to compete right now. I don't know. I mean, they should be motivated. They haven't done anything yet, but I can't speak for someone that I'm not in. If I'm not in your head, then I can't speak for you. So
how would you be feeling if you were someone on that team
very
right
worried.
now?
I'd be exploring my options mentally.
Damn.
Because
wow,
I'm trying to set myself up for success. And if we're not getting, I mean, like, I'm all for staying together and getting the job done, but I don't know what conversations this team is having. I don't know I don't even know what their comms are like when they're losing. Like, are they like, are they arguing with each other? Is there potential fighting going on, or is everything good and we're just losing games? Because very rare am I good and we're losing games.
Yeah.
So there's a lot that goes into it and factors into it. I don't want to tell anybody what to do because I literally do not know their situation. I don't know, like, how much confidence do you have in they play with their team and the individuals on their team every day, I would assume.
Right.
They know better than anybody how good everyone is compared to everyone else. Being able to weigh that and say, is this my best team going into Infinite? Like, at the end of the day, you are an individual on a team. You have to set yourself up for success and use the platform you have to get yourself into the best position. I'm not telling them to break up. I would be looking around saying, guys, do we have it in us or not? Like,
are we serious about this?
You
do we want this? Like, do you guys want this as much as I do? Yeah. Those questions need to be asked.
And right now, everybody needs to be asking themselves that, because there's nobody on that team that I would say is playing out of their mind, like, stepped up and is just like the cloud of their roster where it's a clear favorite of, like, best in the game, right? Like, it'd be different if it was like Frosty's on this team and they're still failing and like Frosty's playing out of his mind. It's like, well, yeah, maybe Frosty needs to become a free agent and get an offer. But
yeah, and this could be a great opportunity for them because, as we're saying, teams like Sentinels and Cloud9s get better, or got better as the season went on. They can very well, with us saying that, imagine they come out, at that 10K and have a really good tournament. I think this is a big opportunity for them to, kind of regain. And I just think it's going to be tough.
It's hard, it's hard with the younger players, that haven't been around the scene as much, haven't been through as much turmoil, as much transition. Like, for you, Faisal or Wes, to say that it's like easy, like you've been there, done that. You've had to regain multiple times in your careers and bounce back.
It is not easy.
Well, I mean, I'm saying it's easy for you to say it because you guys have had to do it. Whereas for them, it's like they've never quite had this experience of being at the top and falling and having to like rebuild. Like, this is kind of like Soul Snipe said, these are all their first competitive Halo, and like these are the lessons you got to learn. It's just unfortunate that they're young and they're having to learn these lessons the hard way while kind of, trying to still be on top, So
Right. It's a
Rather learn
pivotal
it now
time.
than when Infinite comes out, though.
Yeah.
Right?
Speaking
Like,
of
Brax.
Infinite,
Go
speaking
ahead,
of
Faisal.
Infinite,
He's
Here
been
we
waiting
go.
for this all day. He came in the Discord earlier and he was like, Justin, we have to talk about the Tashi tweet.
yes. Speaking of Infinite, we have to talk about the Tashi tweet that went out to the public, and it read. I'm actually unprepared. I should have had it pulled up, but I'll summarize
And
it.
it read.
Yeah, wait, why did I set myself up for failure? Basically, Tashi said that if everything goes well, as in like with the pandemic protocols and staying on track, with everything and how the progress we've been making. So if all that side of things stays well, then we will in fact have an in-person live Halo Infinite tournament in 2021. Obviously, this is not something that is set in stone. It is not something that's guaranteed just yet, but he publicly put that tweet out.
The venue's
And
booked.
Which means they're pretty far in the process.
venue
They're
is
willing to like
booked.
talk about it. Yeah.
The
That's,
venue's
so
booked.
I'm gonna toss
You
it
don't get
to.
booked for no reason.
I wanna ask Hoaxer right off the jump. Your thoughts on that? How are you feeling? How was the squad feeling? Where the hype levels at with everything, and your overall thoughts on it.
Yeah, well, for me, I think it's obviously nothing but a good thing. The fact that he said that it's, the venue's been booked, that's, obviously I'm going to take him for his word and say like that's a for real thing. And so that's something to look forward to. That's something for us to start having conversations and coordinating on potential ways that we would want to approach it, which up until this point has been very difficult since them pushing the game back another it was another year when they did push back essentially. So now guys like Renegade, he definitely got pretty amped about that. Because that guy just wants to win something. We've got to give him something to win.
Yeah.
The guy's, he's a demon. Demons got to be fed. I get it. So yeah, he's pretty excited. What I think I think we're still reserved. I think we're still reserved, generally speaking, because like I said, anything could happen. It's just hard to think what could happen in between now and then, and it just be smooth sailing, right?
Fair.
But I'm confident that this won't fall through, but we'll see. I think it's nothing but a great thing. It's awesome. So we'll see.
I mean, we've been making some progress. It feels like I was sharing with Faisal earlier off stream, like kind of feels like we're heading in a direction as a society, at least, right? Like vaccines and everything else. Like it seems like the world is kind of settling down and getting back to some sort of like semblance of normalcy. I know when I saw the tweet, I just was pumped. I mean, immediately. I was pumped. Tashi's tweet had me pumped. I was even more pumped when I saw people like MLG Adam like retweeting it and like hyping it up. That's when I'm like,
Esports
all right,
Engine.
You got me at Adam, right? You got me at Esports Engine. That's the stuff where I'm like, dude, we're gonna finally get to see what they've been cooking up, because they've been cooking up some stuff, man. And I know they've been hard at work setting up the Halo Infinite roadmap with those guys. And there's no one I would rather have at the helm, working that out than those guys, right? And especially with Tashi and how much he cares about Halo Esports, I know he's like throwing all the eggs in the basket trying to make this thing the best it can possibly be. We got any predictions?
Where do you think it's gonna be?
Yeah,
where do you think
predictions on where it's gonna be?
I know Wes is kind of out of this conversation right now, but I can't help but think. I mean, I don't know. DreamHack Atlanta is supposed to happen at the end of the year, right?
That's true. That's gonna happen whether there's a Halo event there or not.
If he says they already had a place booked potentially, we know DreamHack and Halo have done stuff. We know. I don't know. I think that's
So the reason why I don't think it's DreamHack Atlanta is because the fact that he said the venue's booked, that's not really dependent on 343 or not. It's DreamHack is they're booking. They're taking care of that.
They're
the,
taking the venue. Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
So it's definite. I am confident that it's not DreamHack Atlanta, but you guys heard it here first. I could eat my words. This might not age well, you know. But I'm confident in that regard that it's somewhere else.
I'm just trying to see, experience Party at the Lovejoy House round 2. You know what I'm saying? DreamHack Atlanta round 2. Party at the pad again. Bust out the projector and the old games. You know what I'm saying? Like
that was cool.
I'm curious. I'm curious. Actually, let us know if you're listening to this. Let us know in the comment section where you think the first Halo Infinite in-person live tournament is going to be. If I had to, I don't know. Emmanuel kind of poked holes through my theory. I was thinking just off the top of my head where it could be, and I remember Justin right before the show we were talking about it too. But I mean, somewhere in Texas would be badass.
obviously.
I would love like
No
a Dallas
bias
event.
there.
But I don't know. What do you think, Justin? Where do you think it's gonna be?
For me, I'm not so concerned about where as I am when. Right.
Yeah, true.
We thought for a long time that generally speaking, most people were predicting Infinite would come out on November 15th because that's the 20-year anniversary of Halo 1. Well, so it made sense. Oh, that'd be so cool if it dropped on that date. However, DreamHack Atlanta, we were looking at the dates. I think it's the 12th to the 14th. It's the week of the 14th. So it's it would be ending right before the game even came out when they were predicting the game would come out. So that means a couple things. Either the game is dropping earlier than we thought, which would make sense, if they've been making really great progress up there. If the game drops earlier than expected, cool. Would be down for that. Or, are we going to get a multiplayer beta where they just got to grind it out and get as much knowledge as you can and, show up to an event and hope for the best? Who knows, right? But the fact that Tashi went out of his way to tweet about it and stuff,
Totally.
It seems like it's more than just an exhibition, right, Faisal? It feels like it's more than that. It's going to be a big event. So
yeah, it could be something where, with Halo 4, they had that launch tournament in Dallas where the game came out and the tournament was right then and there. I wouldn't be surprised if that's a great way to build hype for a game or for an esports scene, to really rejuvenate it like that. So it could be something like that. I would rather it be something where the game comes out and then teams have some time to really kind of figure out the game a little bit and then have a tournament, because I feel like otherwise, it's not as fruitful to the viewers, I guess, to really experience top, as best competition. But that'll come as the game, goes through its proper channels, obviously.
Is there anything that you would like to add to this conversation, Wes?
Overall, I think it's just a light at the end of the tunnel to getting back to normalcy in life, right? Being able to have an event plan, see people, be a part of the atmosphere, see a competition, plan for the players.
LAN is the lifeblood of Halo, right?
It's a tough one to dance around.
Could you imagine if he just came out and said exactly where and went, yeah, it's going to be here and here.
I mean,
that's kind of how I view it. It's just I haven't seen my boys in so long.
Sentinels is what he's talking about, obviously. He's talking about his boys.
No one else. Absolutely.
My boy. What are you saying right now?
No, man. Dude. Yeah, you said it perfectly right there. It's been a long time since we've, connected, with all of our, peoples. And
this is the longest I haven't seen APG since I was
that's awful.
14 years old.
That's awful.
It's awful. Come on. We're buying everybody drinks. Come on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that first event I think is going to be very special because, from my memory, this is, the longest since competitive Halo started that we haven't had a single. Maybe there is a time window where it was the case, but even it's been a long time since there's been some sort of in-person sanctioned gathering for Halo, competitive Halo. So I think it'll be really special when it finally happens.
You know how normally at events everyone books their tickets home on Monday? People are gonna be booking their tickets home for Tuesday, Wednesday.
I'm home Wednesday.
I am excited where the tournament's gonna be because of that reason. If we're in Cali, maybe I'll stay till Tuesday.
Come through, bro.
But we'll see. If we're in Austin, I would stay till Tuesday. Austin's a cool city.
Austin, yeesh. Yeah, that would be interesting. for sure.
Why is that? What's
Because
Austin?
I've heard a lot of great things about just Austin, and I think that's one of the most like likable places to live right now.
Hell yeah, for
You
sure.
know, so I
Manuel
don't know.
you got your Tinder app locked and loaded, ready to roll through Austin, just swiping.
Jesus Christ. No, this isn't a Tinder related
Okay.
statement. I will say, like, just in general for esports, it seems like, Texas is the hot spot. Like,
Mhm.
it is very hot. I'm talking about, like, if you're in
Texas
that
and Memphis.
Memphis,
I'm
great
such a
internet.
troll.
That's all I could say right now. That's all I could say about Tennessee. But um,
One day.
and I liked the Tennessee Titans a little bit. They were decent. But
Yeah.
anyways, man, that's weird. But yeah, no, Texas, like that Dallas area, that's a hot spot. There's a lot
Mhm.
of professional esports players, just talent, personalities there, and it's only getting bigger there. So that would be interesting to just have like an
Have
event
it in a
somewhere.
hub and like invite out a bunch of like community people and just like
Oh,
massive
man.
people to like
People-
make that thing pop.
Honestly, I think people that would normally not ever be at a Halo event, in terms of like personalities, even outside of gaming, I could see them going to an event just because,
Mhm.
it's just going to be the place to be. So, that thinking about it from that perspective is, pretty exciting.
Yeah.
I know we're all, a lot of, the gaming community gets a lot of flack for being, introverted or antisocial and stuff like that. But for me, man, you know, I'm looking to,
Looking to
shake
swipe.
hands, just be in the moment with everyone. And, it's just something that I've missed because I'm naturally an introvert. Um, but, but yeah, it's just, to have that conversation going um, in a way that I could take it more serious than I ever have. Or like, venue being booked. It's like, okay, you know, there's a percentage of excitement that I'm gonna have for that for sure.
Multiplayer
So,
gameplay that goes up a little bit more, right? Release
Yeah,
date
yeah.
it goes up even more.
Yeah.
Yeah, can we get some? Yeah, we
Yeah.
need some
A
some
non
gameplay.
Halo
considered.
5 non MCC live event. Like that that's Halo still.
It's happening this year.
Yeah.
It's
Right.
happening. Unreal,
So,
man. Well, with that being said, I mean, we're getting close to an hour here. I want to special thanks for man. Time flies when we're kicking it here on the show, but we got to give you a massive special shout out for jumping on with us, man, and everything you guys are doing. Cloud9, we went from hoping you guys would win one to now where you guys look damn near unbeatable.
Back to back. The 3
So,
peat coming. The 3 feet coming.
You got some Cloud9 fans here on the show. We'll be rooting for you guys in the 10K next weekend. Wes will not. With that being said, I gotta wrap things up here. But Manuel, before you go ahead and give your shout outs. Who you want to shout out? Also, to guys watching the show, check out the Hoaxer Academy. Hoax is streaming pretty much every day. He's got brand new emotes, sub badges, everything's looking nice. And he's teaching you guys how to play the game nice. So we'll have his stream linked in the description as well. Make sure you guys follow all his socials and whatnot. But I'm gonna let you have the floor, Manuel. Go ahead with your closing statements and your shout outs.
Yeah, first of all, I want to give a huge shout out to the squad, man. Like these guys, absolute beasts. And I gotta give a shout out to those guys and being able to come together and just be the absolute units that I know that they are. And yeah, so a huge shout out to my squad. Shout out to Cloud9. They've been nothing but awesome since day one. Even since before day one. But if that even makes sense. So shout out to Cloud9, and I want to give a big shout out to my parents, my brother for the unrelenting support and just the positive vibes, throughout my whole, I guess, progression and maturation throughout, everything that I choose to do, and yeah, thanks. Shout out to you guys for having me on board.
Absolutely, man. It's been nothing but a blast, a pleasure, a privilege. We're thankful to have you. And with that being said, this is going to wrap up episode number what, Wes? 36?
36.
36, baby.
36 episodes deep for the On My X crew. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. Be sure to sub to the channel, follow the Twitter. Love y'all, and we'll see you guys right here next week for the next episode. Take care.